Hi everyone, and welcome to Tuesday. And of course, we're going to take a look at the performance of the New Zealand Stock Exchange for last week and just see what we can learn from that. Now, remember, this is for education purposes only, definitely not intended to be personalised financial advice for anyone. Before I do jump across and share my screen, though, I really do need your help. I'm wanting to potentially look at the new way of creating financial coaching. Not advice, coaching. And I would love for you to take a short assessment, and that will help me determine what angle to really take with helping you to gain more financial knowledge. Whether it's investing, whether you're just wanting to learn how to get started with budgeting, anything at all, I would love for you to take this really short assessment. It can be anonymous, so if you don't want to hear from me, that's great. You don't need to pop in any of your personal details. Naturally, if you do, then do pop in your name and email address, and I can keep you informed. But it's really going to help me shape the future of my business and what I'm trying to do to help you. But anyway, let's go and take a look at the New Zealand stock market and see how that's performed. Right, you can see here with this last candle is another all-time high for the New Zealand stock market. That is really exciting to see. And you can see we've actually had 3 weeks in a row have been positive weeks. Very good for our market. So it's quietly trickling up, which is fantastic. We do want to see that. However, on the US and Australian markets, they've come back a little bit. So it is interesting to see that we're sort of counterintuitive. But to be fair, we have been, when they were having strong periods, we were not quite so strong. Let's jump across to the 1-year chart, and that simply brings these candles up to daily candles. So if we can see here, Monday was a bit of a down day, and that was interesting. But if I look down the bottom, this is the volume bars that I've got up. And you can see even though that Monday was down, there was very little volume, which is really good. Tuesday, Wednesday, again, the market rallied. A good, strong signs to see, which is fantastic. And Thursday had come off, and there was a bit more volume if we look at Thursday's bar. And then Friday was a good, strong, healthy update. But again, that volume's come off. Is that going to be telling us something? Who knows? But that's what we can see is happening there. So it's just good that we've made new all-time highs. We'll go back to that 5-year chart. And this time, I am going to put on the moving averages. So like normal, I always use the 30 exponential moving average. Okay. And you can see there the market's definitely still trending above it. And I would expect that because we've had 3 positive weeks in a row and we're making all-time highs pretty much each time that the market has closing for the week. Let's also put on a faster period moving average, which is 15 weeks. And again, exponential. We'll change the color. So there we go there. The 15-week moving average is still trading above the 30, which is a really good sign. So we want to see that when you've got the faster period moving average above the slower period moving average, irrespective of what moving averages you use, these are the ones that I consistently use. So whatever you use, you've got to keep it consistent. As long as they're trading above like this, the share is trading above it or the indices, then that is the sign of a good, healthy market. Now, I like to look at the weekly chart just to give me a good overall position as to what is happening. And then I also move on to the daily chart, which is just clicking the yearly button down here, just to give a little bit more confirmation, because obviously things happen a lot quicker on a daily basis than what they do on a weekly basis. And again, it's looking really good, really strong and healthy. So if we look where the market is, yes, last week and even the week before, we did see a few trading days that it had got right back down to that slower moving average, being the 30-day in this case. However, the moving averages never cross. They haven't tipped to the downside. So that is really good. And it is something that we do want to see with a good, strong, healthy market. Let's go back to the 5-year chart. Changes these candles to weekly. Now, the other thing that I want to show you is if I look at this candle for last week, you can see we've got a very small wick at the top, but quite a long tail at the bottom. It was green, which means it was positive. If you're into reading candlestick charts, it says that the buyers were actually in control and they won the day, if you like. So the market opened where the solid block happens and it closed where the solid block ends at the top. Okay, so it opens at the bottom, closes at the top, and the opposite is the case for if you see any red candles. It means that the market opened at the top of the block and closed to the bottom. But the wicks at the bottom, at the tails at the top, is actually where the buying and selling came in. So the tail, the long tail at the bottom, indicates where the low was for the week, and the tail at the wick at the top indicates where the trading was at a high for the week. But that is really, to me, irrelevant. The fact that it's got a longer tail than a wick means that the buyers are out there. So it means that there are people out there actively wanting to participate in our market, which is a really good thing to see. Now, we'll just take a look at that volatility as well. So we're going to take that ATR figure that I've got down the bottom, and I've got that over a 21-week period, and we'll just divide it by where the market is at the moment. Very little volatility. In fact, we're sitting at about 1.97% volatility. And I've said this before as well, when I'm looking at a market and whether I want to go into any shares, whether it's the indices or not, I want to make sure that the overall market has less than 5% volatility, which is exactly what our New Zealand market does. We've got some really good things happening there, and I am quite excited about where this is potentially going to lead us. Remember, if you've got any questions, sing out. I'm here to help. Happy to perhaps do a video on it for you or answer any questions, or even if you want me to take a look at a share that you're wanting to do some analysis on. And speaking of shares, I am going to do a review on Productive Discovery on Thursday. Now, this is a share that's listed on the Australian Stock Exchange. However, I've been notified that they are doing a reverse stock split. So I'd like to actually show you how that works and what happens, especially if you are already holding that particular share. So like I said, come back on Thursday, take a look at that. And just a final reminder, I would love for you to go through and complete the assessment as to how we can actually take the future of financial coaching and really help you to get on your own path to financial freedom. Look forward to seeing you on Thursday. Take care.